Hey everybody, Gulp666 here. Finally, we're a little bit more halfway through October, and it's finally time for a new DVD Blu-ray update. Got a big stack, not too much bigger than usual, but you know, just a few extra films here, so gonna get right into it. You guys know how I usually like to do this, and before I even get to the toast, I'd like to let everyone know that my relaunch video just hit 200 views. I really enjoy seeing that, so thank you everybody for coming through and checking out the channel, and cheers to that. Today we are sipping on some Elysian Great Pumpkin. Really, really good Imperial Pumpkin Ale. So cheers, guys. And as promised, as always, you guys know traditionally I like to toke it up a little, so cheers again. Got Death-O-Lantern from 1986 on the tube here, just in case anybody was wondering. Definitely have been missing this element in my videos, so I wanted to bring it back. Hopefully it won't get flagged or anything, and I'll try to make videos in the future with movies on in the background that are less likely susceptible to be flagged or whatever. So, gonna get along into the update now. I know the lighting's a little weird, but the camera's a little better, so I hope you guys can see. This first film here is Caught. This is a really, really strange film. These people show up at this couple's house, and there's this weird military stuff going on around the property as well. The situation just deteriorates until it's total chaos. Honestly, I pretty much got what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be a little bit better, though. This movie really just falls apart, in my opinion. Not that it was absolutely horrible. I didn't hate it or anything, but I'd heard some good stuff about it, and I thought it fell short. So it is what it is. It was pretty fun. You guys should definitely check it out. That's Caught. Next up, something I thought was not going to be very good, actually. It turned out to be pretty fun. A Place in Hell. This one's about a countryside, like, Halloween haunt event sort of thing. I'm sure you can guess where it's going. Very similar to the, most movies bearing that premise. So, I had a good enough time with it. Serial killer loose in a haunt. It's pretty much your basic slasher, but I really enjoyed it. It was a fun, cheesy time. So check out A Place in Hell. Another movie about Halloween haunts. I'd been waiting to watch this for a long time. We've had it sitting on the shelf, but we wanted to wait until October to finally watch it. So we have The House is October Built 2. And it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect. The end is batshit insane. Honestly, I think it's a little bit better than the first one in that vein. But both of these films, they're fun for October, but they're not the greatest of all time. But I had a good enough time with it. The House is October Built 2. Definitely not the movie we asked for, but not too shabby altogether. So if you enjoyed the first one, you'll definitely enjoy this one. Alright, something really, really cheesy and bad, but I still had a fun time with it. Terrordactyl. This is from, what are these guys called? It's from the studio that made Robert. I'm not really sure, because it doesn't say the logo, it's just the logo here, so it doesn't say what the company name is. But Terrordactyl, this is a few years old. It's exactly what you'd expect. It's pretty cheesy and full of CGI pterodactyls, and it's fun. If that's what you're looking for, then this is definitely going to deliver. Very cheesy, cheap little movie. So check out Terrordactyl, guys. Gonna wet the palate. Alright, next up we have House of Salem. This one had like a weird vibe to it. I liked it, but I didn't expect it to be so incredibly cheesy, and I wouldn't even say it's cheesy. It kind of loses me at some points. There's not really too much plot direction in it, and the acting is just okay. But it was fun enough, I guess. I don't know how many times I'll watch it again, but there it is if you must. House of Salem. Next one, For a PG, it's almost PG-13 in my opinion, because it's rated R for certain things that I don't even think really matter for an R-rated film. This definitely plays like a PG-13 movie. Dead Before Dawn. It is pretty fun still. There's some bloody horror violence and stuff in it, but your typical cheesy, laughable teen horror parody sort of film. I had some fun with it though, so check that out as well. Dead Before Dawn. Alright, you guys know I like to fit some martial arts films in here every once in a while. I picked this up out of the random. Been hitting a lot of like pawn shops and 99-cent stores, and also my local swap meet is now open again here and there, so picked this up recently. I don't know exactly where, but it was probably $1 somewhere. House of Flying Daggers. Exactly what you'd imagine. Early 2000s martial arts film with just extravagant effects and all sorts of people flying around and doing impossible shit. So fun stuff. These are not exactly my favorite types of film, but I throw them on here and there, and just trying to fill in the dots, as I've always said with most of the martial arts films I'm fairly ignorant to still. So there's that. Next up, this is a really cheesy one as well, but it was really, really fun. It kind of gave me similar vibes to Derailed, which we watched recently. Storage 24. It's got a pretty solid monster. Decent enough acting, good plot. It's a pretty solid monster movie. For Magnolia Entertainment, usually, they do pretty well with them. It is rated R, obviously, but there's not tons and tons of gore, but there is some gore in this film, so it was pretty fun time. I really liked it. Storage 24. Check that one out too, guys. Alright, gonna break into some Blu-rays next. From Magnet Entertainment, the Deadlands. This is really cool. This is like Native American sort of fiction, like ongoing war between tribes. Really brutal and eccentric direction in this film. I don't really want to spoil it too much. It's basically just a revenge flick for the most part. But it's fairly unique for what it is. I haven't seen anything quite like it before, and it does not hold back in the brutality. It's a little laughable in some respects, but pretty damn fun nonetheless. So check out the Deadlands. Alright. Got a triple pack of Blu-rays here. First one being Scar, then Terror Trap, and then Midnight Movie. Scar was pretty cheesy and bad. I still had a decent enough time with it. Watched it really late, had some popcorn. But it's not really anything that I thought was very great. Terror Trap, however, turned out to be pretty cool. Like, it's basically a Vacancy ripoff, but I thought it came out pretty well. And then I've actually had Midnight Movie a very long time, which is a really cheesy but super fun and brutal slasher film from the early 2000s that I absolutely love. So I saw this and I said, I may as well. Good to have the Blu-ray of Midnight Movie if nothing else. So turns out it was a pretty decent purchase. So check out those films, guys. Alright, I've come to a bit of sad news in my opinion. I finally acquired a Blu-ray of 3 from Hell. And we just watched it the other day for our daily October features, and I gotta say, I was really bummed out with this movie. I did not think it was necessary. It looked like a total mess. It was falling apart at the seams, in my opinion. All the characters, personalities were totally warped. It just didn't seem legitimate to enter the franchise. Not to mention Sid, only having his tiny little bit at the beginning. It was laughable. I was really hoping that I could go in with, even low expectations, because a lot of people told me it was really bad, and I didn't believe them, but, hear it straight from my mouth. 3 from Hell, I did not like this film, and I'm very sorry to say. I tried very hard to like it, but it just didn't click with me, so there it is. Still have it. I'm a completist. Alright, got 2 that go together. Found these recently at Fry's Electronics out in Las Vegas, one of the last times I was out there with my band A Perfect Being, who you should all definitely go check out. I'll leave some links down below in the description. But I found these two films out at the Fry's Electronics in Las Vegas out there, like I said, Maniac Cop 2 on Blu-ray and then Maniac Cop 3 on Blu-ray. And I feel like these films bear such a stylistic resemblance to Halloween, especially Halloween 1 through 3. Like, it's astonishing. The atmosphere is so much the same. You have Tom Atkins also, so it just... I haven't really looked into it, but I got to imagine that the same people that were making Halloween were present. Some of them must have been present on this set and post-production as well, because these are very, very similar in style, I think, slasher-wise to Halloween, the first, few movies in that franchise. That being said, obviously they're fantastic. I absolutely love Maniac Cop, so it was really fun to finally scoop up these two sequels. I wonder if these are the only ones. I'm not really sure, but I'll look into it and we'll see. But definitely be on the lookout for Maniac Cop, the entire franchise. Check these films out, guys. Alright, wet my palette one more time. And this will be our final Blu-ray for this update. We'll get back to a few more DVDs before we wrap it up. Just watched this one recently as well for a daily October features. I forget which episode, but man, I had a good time with this. This was a formulaic, totally legitimate slasher with tons of style and brooding atmosphere, great set, great direction, fantastic acting, and not to mention a super psychological character study element, like bordering. I think it's right as good as Maniac. Total good character study film, and I had such a good time with it. It was super intense at some parts. I just thought it had everything going for it, and I definitely think everyone should go check it out. Go find a copy and check this film out. Open 24 hours. Really good film. Gonna watch that one again very soon. Alright, so I'd heard a lot of good about this next film. Usually Magnet really delivers, but sometimes they're a little lacking. This is one of those cases. I'm not going to say that I didn't like Murder Party, but it was definitely lacking. I thought the production value was kind of iffy for such a large company. I wonder what the budget for this must have been. I didn't look into it too much, but it was a violent, gory, brutal film, and I did have a lot of fun. In comparison to what I had heard about it, I was a little underwhelmed, but you should definitely all still go check out Murder Party. Really cool Halloween flick. It's set on Halloween, so, that makes it pretty watchable as is. Next up, got another one taking place on Halloween. This is a newer film. I think it came out in 2018. It's called Boo. It's like these people find this weird game on their porch on Halloween, and it curses you if you don't participate. So of course they don't participate. Lots of weird stuff goes down. I haven't seen a movie like this in a long time. This one really had a legitimately original plot, in my opinion. Like, I've seen the board game thing done over and over, Blackwaters of Echo's Pond, and so many other films like that. But this didn't really rely too much on the game itself, as rather the effects of not participating in the game. I thought that was rather ingenious. You have your ploy, and now you can move past it and not just center around it. And lots of weird stuff happens in this film. I had a good enough time that I say you should all definitely go check out Boo. This was a pretty fun film. So I'd never really heard of this next one until recently. I guess a sequel / remake, reboot, something is just now coming out. But I haven't seen anything or heard anything about that quite yet, other than just seeing that it was out. And I looked into it a little bit. Obviously, there is an original flick. So I found it recently at a pawn shop or the swap meet or something. It's The Craft. And fairly classic witch movie. I did not expect it to be so good, honestly. Definitely going to be rewatching really soon. And yeah, what more can you say? 4 friends get together, learn some witchcraft, start abusing it, things go bad, and they all turn on each other. Fun time. I can't wait to check out the sequel / remake, reboot, whatever it is. I'll let you guys know how I like that too, so definitely be on the lookout for The Craft if you have not seen it. Got a few more here, guys. Just found this one, I think, at like a Dollar General or Family Dollar or something. It's fairly cheap. It was a really fun time. It's Beyond the Gates. This had a lacking production value that I did not expect either, but it kind of rose above it. Really fun plot, super funny acting, tons of brutality. It's everything that you could ask for in this style of movie. IFC Midnight fairly lets you down, so you should definitely be on the lookout for Beyond the Gates as well. Another board game sort of film. Alright. There's probably not too many of these that I don't have, but I still come across one here and there. This one I did find at the swap meet the other day, and you guys know all about this. I just don't have this one until now. So it's Goosebumps. It came from Beneath the Sink. And this also has Strained Peas, the episode Strained Peas on it. So, it's cool. I've got tons of Goosebumps back here. It's like this whole section right here. So it's going to go right there. I'm super happy to have it. Going to do a Goosebumps marathon probably pretty soon too. So check that out, obviously. Goosebumps is awesome. If you can find these old DVDs, definitely scoop them up. They're so fun. One more palette re-wetting. Alright, everybody, we got two more films for you. This next one is really old. I believe, 1933. Yeah, 1933. Really stylish, minimalist kind of horror film. It's more of like a mystery film. I don't really know how to describe it. It's just really brooding and dry for the most part, but a hell of a finale. Had a lot of fun with it. I love finding old films like this. It's Supernatural from 1933. It's not very long. It's just over an hour, so the pacing is magnificent. Excellent acting. Oh, this is a perfectly executed example of a classic horror film. Everyone should be on the lookout. I don't know what kind of release something this classic might have by now, but I just found this at the not pawn shop, but the swap meet recently as well. It was $1. I happily scooped it up, so be on the lookout for Supernatural from the 1930s. That is a gem right there. Alright, and we have reached our last film for the update. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't, please go down and hit the subscribe. Give me a comment, ask me about some films that you might be thinking about, or something that I spoke about today that you want to know more about. Just let me know. And like I said, there'll be more links down below in the description for some of my bands and what we're doing. And I know there's some stuff that I'm missing, but I'm just going to move on and close this out. This is the last film, and it is It Chapter 2. I really, really liked the original from the 90s. And then when the first one of these films came out, I think we saw it in theaters. And for some reason, I felt like I was very underwhelmed. I walked out of there thinking I didn't really like it. So we just watched that first one the other day again. And I gotta tell you, I actually really, really liked it a lot. So we finally picked up a cheap copy of It Chapter 2 and watched that as well the same day. And I gotta say, oh man, this one actually let me down quite a bit. It was still a great film, did everything it was supposed to, I guess. But compared to the really brooding, the solid atmosphere in that first film, I just felt like this one was a bit lacking. It didn't quite wrap it up as spectacularly as I wanted to, but you can't win them all. Still a solid film. I'm glad I own them, so I'll revisit them here and there. That's It Chapter 2, and that brings us to a close, everybody. So I'm going to say one or two more things. I'm definitely going to try and get another book update going. I'm definitely going to try and get a music update going. And we're also going to do a small house tour. You can see how we've decorated our house, me and my wife. And then we'll show you our porch and our patio or whatever when it's all lit up with Halloween lights, getting closer to Halloween. So stay tuned. We'll have lots more spooky stuff going on, and everyone stay safe, keep on creeping, and until next time, Duel 666 out.